Now this program is the beginning of a new life for scholars who come through these very doors. This program will transform lives and families. The 30 housing units here represent 30 families, but 30 families represent a whole host of other people. We will express gratitude to many partners during today's program. We want to start by thanking EKU Conference and Events, which always puts on a great event, and also Richmond Greenhouse for the beautiful moms that you see throughout. And before we begin, I want to recognize the elected officials that are with us today, so bear with me because there is a few of them. Governor Andy Beshear and Senior Aide Rocky Adkins, Congressman Andy Barr, Madison County Judge Executive Reagan Taylor, Mayor Robert Blythe, Mayor Bruce Fraley, Madison County Magistrate Tom Botkin, Richmond City Commissioners Kristen Arnold and Ed McDaniel, Representative Deanna Frazier, and Stephanie Nelson with Senator Mitch McConnell's office. Now, if there's anyone that I did miss, I apologize. Just know that we appreciate your support. Now, from the moment the plans were in discussion to begin this project, Dr. David McFadden was enthusiastic. Dr. McFadden knows the importance of workforce training and higher education, and without the generous support of the university, the Board of Regents, and Dr. McFadden's leadership, the project would not have been possible. Please welcome the president of EKU, Dr. David McFadden.
Thank you very much, Madison. What a wonderful day it is today. Now, my partner in crime is not with us here today. Vicki Josefowicz was not able to be with us, but as Vicki was leading Kentucky River Foothills and first brought forward the concept of a scholar house, the original scholar house on our campus, it was truly, as Mayor has said, a field of dreams. Today, we get a chance to cut the ribbon on something that is going to power our communities. This is going to power our workforce. It's going to fill those jobs, Governor, that we've been bringing to Kentucky over the last several years. I would like to recognize a couple of folks. Our board chair, Mike Eves, is here with us today. Our faculty regent, Jason Marion, is with us, and our staff regent, Jeremiah Durson. Without the support of our board, bringing this to our campus would not be possible, and I'm so thankful to each one of them. Eastern Kentucky University was founded as a school of opportunity, a place where education powers communities. And this is the perfect partnership with Kentucky River Foothills, Ohio Capital, the City of Richmond, and of course, our partners in Kentucky Housing Corporation. Aligning the mission of Kit Carson Commons with Eastern Kentucky University is what partnership is about. If you look behind me, you see the Central Bank logo. Our community is invested in the success of those who want to better themselves through education. This is a place where opportunity comes to thrive. This is a place where dreams come true. This is a place for those who want to better themselves and have economic mobility can do that here today. Priority enrollment for those who are veterans, of which Eastern Kentucky University is #1 for serving veterans and veteran family members. I want to say a big thanks to Barbara Kent. Barbara's here somewhere, leading our Office of Military Veterans Affairs. We tipped over 1,600 veterans and veteran family members who are part of our community here at EKU this year. They are benefiting directly from this workforce center here at Kit Carson Commons. I want to say that for those who come to this center, where EKU is providing free of charge workforce development opportunities here in our community, that if you are a veteran, if you are a single parent, if you are a member of our community who is looking for workforce development opportunities, this is the place to get it. We're going to have those schedules out and available. This facility will be open and it is here for you. And I want to commend our faculty and those who come and teach in this space for committing yourself to the work that we're doing every day. Governor, I want to say to you, thank you for being with us today. We've cut a lot of ribbons on a lot of things here in this community over the last couple of years. I want to say that this one is one that I am most proud of because I believe fundamentally if we create a living, learning community here, it will better the lives who have been a part of it. It is great to be with you today. It is exciting to hear from many of our speakers who are going to give testimony about the power of education and the power of the work that we're doing right here at Kit Carson Commons. Thank you all very much.
And next, I'd like to introduce our governor who always puts education first, Andy Beshear.
All right. Good afternoon, and thank you, Madison, for that kind introduction. I'm going to thank a number of people today. But I want to start by thanking these scholars. Listen, they are putting in the work to better not only their lives, but the lives of their children. And what they are doing and what they're going to accomplish isn't just going to change their situation and their kids' situation. It's going to change every generation that comes after them. We're really proud of what they're doing. I want to thank Eastern Kentucky University, the Kentucky Housing Corporation, the Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing, the Kentucky River Foothills Development Council, Congressman Andy Barr, Judge Reagan Taylor, Mayor Robert Blythe, and all the staff and program participants who are here. And thank you to everybody who works at EKU, who works in this community or around the state in bettering the lives of the people around us. We're going to talk a lot about workforce, but I think the mayor started us today by reminding us that our faith and values call on us to be good people, to do the right things. And today we're all celebrating a facility that's going to do the right thing each and every day here in this community. This is an amazing project, and it will be a dream come true for the 30 families at the Scholar House and all the students who get to take part in these workforce training opportunities. Because of today's announcements, folks here in Richmond are going to have a chance to transform their lives and their children's lives. And they don't have to do it alone, because they're going to have support from staff, other residents, their classmates, and the entire community. I'm so excited about every aspect of this project. First, we know the Scholar House model works. For the past, 15 years, Brittany and I have been volunteering at Scholar Houses in Louisville. And I've met some of my favorite people in the world in those facilities. Whether it was, I think, a 5 and a 6-year-old when I first met them, Trayvon and his brother, both now in college, because they saw what their mother was able to do. Or whether it was the woman I had met that first time who just left an abusive relationship, was getting the support that she needed at a Scholar House and getting her education, that today is a published author, a statewide advocate ensuring nobody has to go through what she went through, and a featured speaker all over the country. I've seen how these places and the love that's provided can truly change lives, and it's something that Brittany and I have wanted to be a part of, not just in our official duties, but in our private time. And we've taken our kids with us because we want them to learn the incredible lessons that are taught just through the service being done at these facilities. When we can ease the challenges for these scholars, they can focus on what's most important, earning their degree and being able to make those special memories with their kids. And the Kit Carson Common Scholar House focuses on single-parent veterans attending college. Think about the sacrifices that our veterans have made for us. This is the least that we can do for them. And I'm proud that this Scholar House is serving those that maybe with just a little extra help after everything they sacrificed for our country and our communities, that we can help get through these programs. It means we're showing those who bravely served our country in uniform that we've got their back too. On top of the Scholar House's impact, the workforce pathway is going to help prepare our people for jobs of the future starting today. As the mayor would tell you, we just came from the grand opening of AppHarvest and their Berea facility. Talk about jobs of the future. You go into any of their 3 major buildings and it looks like you're on Mars. I mean, they are using the top-end technology, and the facility we just left is the most technologically advanced indoor growing facility for leafy greens in the world. And it's right here in this county. Let me tell you, world-class companies are betting their future on us more than ever before in our history. We look back last year on that Ford SK announcement, building a battery plant larger than any of us ever thought was possible at $5.8 billion. By far the largest investment Kentucky's ever seen. But folks, that was also the largest investment in the history of Ford Motor Company. and they chose us right here in Kentucky. You go north to that, northern Kentucky, Cincinnati Airport, it's on our side of the river. I'm sure we remember that. That's where Amazon's largest investment in their history is. Last week, we announced the largest investment in the history of Western Kentucky at $1 billion. It's a plant that's going to recycle lithium-ion batteries from our phones and put them into those car batteries so we don't have to rely on China for the lithium that we're going to need for the automotive industry of the future. More and more. We are being picked. We are winning over and over again at creating not just good jobs, but jobs of the future. The type of industries, cutting edge areas that we know are going to be around for decades and will ensure that we have opportunities not just for our kids, but for our kids' kids. At the same time, we got to fill those jobs. And we're sitting right now at one of the lowest unemployment rates in the history of Kentucky. See, since April, we've been below 3.9% unemployment. We've never had a period this long with unemployment that low. We've actually posted the lowest unemployment rate in our history 3 of the months between April and now. So what we know is it's not kicking people who are on unemployment that's the answer. No, that system's there to help them. It's about ensuring those that have extra barriers can get the help they need, to get the education that they need, and to get in this workforce, to take leadership positions in those companies of the future, and no pressure. But we're only relying on you for the future of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I've never felt more hopeful. And I know that sounds strange because the challenges of today are great. I mean, we're thankfully coming out of this pandemic, but my goodness, it's been rough. It's been flooding and tornadoes, the likes of which we've never seen. Most people don't remember, we had 2 ice storms in the last 3 years, too. We have inflation right now that, while temporary, is tough. It's tough on our families. We even have a war in Europe. Who would have thought we've been living through a war in Europe in our lifetime? But at the same time, we're dealing with the challenges of today. We are building a foundation for a tomorrow that is as exciting as I've ever seen. You know, last year we broke every economic development record in the books, and it wasn't close. We'd averaged $5.5 billion in new investment a year in Kentucky. Last year was a record $11.2 billion. We'd average about 9,000 to 10,000 new jobs a year. Last year was 18,000 new jobs, another record. We're going to have the second best year for economic development in our history. We're already over $7.5 billion, and that was just through the end of last month. And we've already announced 13,000 new jobs. And these new industries, whether it's agri-tech, which you're seeing so much of right here in Madison County, or whether that's that EV industry, oh my goodness, the investment is following. Last 2 years, we've announced $10 billion of new investment in EV-related projects. So what we are seeing right now is a game changer and a state changer in Kentucky. One where we had the chance not just to leapfrog 10 other states' economies, but to be a top 10 state economy. And what that means is we need to help everybody get the education and the training that they need to fill these jobs. We've given these companies our word, and we're going to keep it. We're going to get their facilities up on time, and we know we've got the most talented people, and the most caring people, and the best people of anywhere in this world. And when they start those operations with us in their facility, my goodness, they're only going to want to expand because they see how hard we work. To do that, we also have to continue investing in the infrastructure that makes it possible. So, Mayor, I didn't come to Richmond empty-handed. In addition to a number of investments that we have come here to announce recently, I'm excited today to announce a new award for the city of Richmond. Richmond is going to receive $90,000 through the Land and Water Conservation Fund to construct an outdoor fitness court at Lake Reba Recreational Complex. Mayor, would you join us to accept this?
It's upside down.
Wait, which one's larger? Come on. that to the bank. All right. Scripture guides us, I alone know the plans I have for you. Plans to bring you prosperity and not disaster. Plans to bring about the future you hope for. I think that's what this facility is doing. And I'm really proud of this community. I'm really proud of everybody who came together to make this happen. What you're doing today is going to change lives that are here with us today and some that haven't even come into existence. So for this guy whose father was a first-generation college graduate who never thought that he could have that opportunity while growing up, thank you for helping our people. God bless.
Step to making this dream a reality. Once land was obtained, the project needed a financing package. Now the next step was to apply for housing credits as well as Affordable Housing Trust Fund dollars from the Kentucky Housing Corporation. KHC invests in affordable housing solutions by offering programs and services designed to develop and sustain affordable housing across the state. Now, KHC works with many partners across the state to invest in and create affordable housing opportunities for Kentuckians. It's my pleasure to introduce the CEO and Executive Director of Kentucky Housing Corporation, Winston Miller.
After the remarks of Governor Beshear, they're really inspiring, and I think food for all of us to think about in many, many respects. As I was introduced, I'm Winston Miller. I'm the Executive Director and the CEO of the Kentucky Housing Corporation, and we have been involved in this project since its inception, and we're very proud to be here and to be a part of celebrating the opening of this project today. I'm pleased to be here today with the Governor, with Congressman Barr, the local officials who's been named here and identified here, as well as our friends in the Affordable Housing Network and our partners that we work with in the Affordable Housing Network. Kit Carson Commons represents a new beginning for its residents. Here, they can provide a home for their family and at the same time gain wisdom, training, guidance, and that they need to build a brighter future for themselves and for their families. One Scholar House resident in Louisville, and as many of you all know, there are about 10 Scholar Houses throughout the state of Kentucky that have been developed over the many years. But one Scholar House resident of Louisville described her view of the Scholar House as being an answer to her prayers. And in a quote that she said about that, she said, "I knew I wanted to achieve different things, but I didn't know where to start. From the moment I applied, I was on the Scholar House campus every day. Anything they wanted to teach me about being a parent, financial management, job skills, or academic success, I wanted to learn. They allowed me to still be there and do this with my son and earn a degree. I couldn't have achieved all that I have if I'd tried this on my own." This illustrates the importance, I think, in a summary way from the words of a person who's been a product of the Scholar House program. When residents graduate from programs like Scholar House, they are empowered. They are self-sufficient, they have confidence, and have skills to start a new career and further their education and care for their families. Kentucky Housing Corporation's first Scholar House was the Virginia Place, which began in 1986 in Lexington, Kentucky. And it was an innovative approach to housing, as this is, because it addressed many of the residents' needs: childcare, job training, and a safe and secure housing, a place to live. Kentucky Housing Corporation has been a part of replicating this program since 2007. And as I mentioned earlier, now 10 Scholar House programs exist throughout the state of Kentucky. In 2019, the Kentucky Housing Corporation created a special invitation pool for awarding the tax credits, which we have the ability to help finance programs such as this. But we created a special innovation pool for rewarding creative developers like the Kentucky River Foothills Development Council, whose projects address unique needs of special populations. Scholar houses, like the Kit Carson's Commons, are exactly what we envisioned when we created that fund. By providing Kentuckians access to safe, quality, affordable housing, we are transforming lives and strengthening the Commonwealth. For this project in particular, the Scholar House, Kentucky Housing Corporation has invested more than $8.9 million in low-income housing tax credits over a 10-year period, which generates over $7 million in equity, which has come from the Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing, thank you, to construct this facility, which has 25 two-bedrooms and five three-bedrooms, serving 30 units here. We commend all that have been involved in this project, but in particular the Kentucky River Foothills, Fahey, Winterwood, the manager of the project, and again, all the other partners that have made this a reality. I am proud, on behalf of the Kentucky Housing Corporation, to be among the first to welcome the first residents to this wonderful project. Thank you.
Now, in any tax credit transaction, you need an investor. Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing came to the table to invest $7.5 million in the project. Ohio Capital has been an excellent partner in developing multifamily housing throughout the state of Kentucky. Ohio Capital was so impressed with the Scholar House initiative, they took to lead in developing a Scholar House program in Columbus, Ohio. Now, please welcome CEO and Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing, Catherine Coffin.
So it's really fun for me to stand up here and say, yeah, we brought $7.5 million to a project. And guess what? We have more. But I want to acknowledge how we get that money. You know, Ohio Capital Corporation is an intermediary. So what we do is we work with the developers of projects such as Scholar House. And we talk with a lot of investors in the that have a vested interest in investing in communities. So there's a pool of investors that actually brought that $7.5 million to this project. And I want you to know that they are large banks, they're medium banks, and they're small banks, all doing business here in Kentucky. And they're very community minded. They could put their money anywhere. They could put their money in the markets. But I'll tell you what, they take a portion of their earnings every year and they allot it for community projects such as this. And when we're talking to our investors about, listen, there's going to be another Scholar House. Oh, okay, we're in. I mean, it is amazing. It's amazing because their money can also go into affordable housing in the suburban, nice, big, beautiful facilities that are needed as well. Scholar House, to develop one of these, it's not for the faint of heart. It's very intentional that there's more equity in these, little to no long-term debt, because it takes a lot of the operation dollars to keep these going. And we're a partner. We don't just come in during construction, get these, ribbon cuttings, and we're here for 15 years. So we consider, and the folks that we represent as investors, we consider ourselves alongside every one of the folks that are working here on a day-to-day basis. So we want to hear about struggles. We want to hear if there's any issues with the units. We want to hear about what does the residents and their families need ongoing, because we also have brought grants of over $40 million to our projects through the years. And that's out of Ohio Cap. We are a nonprofit. we take our bottom line and we put it back into the communities that we invest in. Because we know not everything goes perfect for 15 years. We know it's gonna happen here, because, you know, we have such strong partners. But we want you to know that we're a longtime partner in this project as well as many other Scholar House. I do live just outside of Columbus, Ohio, and I spend my personal time at a Scholar House. And the Scholar House is located, and there are a couple in Columbus. One of them specifically targets residents, teens that have aged out of the foster care system and have nowhere to go. So you see that Scholar House vision is just exploding into other ways that we can help folks realize their dream of education and trying to come together and support them. So myself and some other working women have come together to adopt that Scholar House, and we're there at the holidays. We're there starting them at the school year. We've bought bus passes. We've put our own personal dollars along with garnering and getting other folks to kind of adopt some of the residents, because we know that's what it's going to take, and we want them to know they have family. They might not have been born into our family, but we're now family. We go over on Sunday nights and we have pizza. And it's been really wonderful to earn their trust and to provide that. And I see that here. I see that at this facility as well as the others in Kentucky. And I'm so proud to represent Ohio Capital and continue to bring money to Kentucky for wonderful projects like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Even with the tax credit investments and dollars from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, there were still financing gaps that needed to be filled. Madison County Fiscal Court applied for a portion of the remaining financing gap. And the court got $450,000 that was approved through a community development block grant application, and their support was essential in this development. So thank you for the Madison County Fiscal Court. It's now my honor to introduce two wonderful leaders at the Kentucky River Foothills. And Kentucky River Foothills is the local community action agency. They work tirelessly to develop community resources to help the people live lives of dignity, responsibility, and opportunity. They offer a variety of services and are deeply committed to providing affordable housing opportunities and bettering the lives that they serve. Now, David Eastup is the Executive Director of Kentucky River Foothills, and Jackie Dean is the Eastern Scholar House Director, a similar program that was across campus, and the director of this Scholar House program. So at this time, I'd like to present both of them to the podium.
Well, thank you all for coming out this afternoon to this beautiful facility. As it's mentioned, this is definitely a team effort. It's took several people to make this program a reality, and we can't do it without the partnerships that we have. I want to thank the governor for being here, Ed McFadden and EKU for all the work that you put into this, Kentucky Housing Corporation, Ohio Capital for the funding, and Representative Barr, which we'll hear from soon. Partnerships cannot be overstated. These aren't the only partners that I mentioned up here that had something to do with this project. Many of you in the audience had a lot to do with this. It took several years to get this done through COVID, which was a struggle all of its own. So I want to take this time and recognize a few special people. Madison County Fiscal Court, Judge Taylor, and magistrates for helping us with the CDBG funding and for your long-term support that's changed the lives of countless Madison County residents. To the City of Richmond, to the Mayor, to the Commissioners, thank you not only for supporting this Foothills project, but for all the projects you do to endeavor and other endeavors that enrich this community so much. So Rob Heinrich is the city manager. I'm not sure if Rob's with us or not, but Rob was instrumental in helping me through this project, guided me through how to handle the ins and outs with all the different entities that we deal with. Also, the Richmond Section 8 office, Susan Lillis, thank you for helping us get the vouchers pushed through. That was not an easy task, but we do appreciate that. Our neighbor, Fahi. Fahi, you've been a true partner in this project. You helped us attain various funding sources, served as consultants, construction loan lender, and a friend. So Wanda spent a lot of time with this, and I greatly appreciate your efforts to make this a special place. Integrity Architecture. They've dreamed this up and put it on paper. And wow, what a beautiful place it is. We appreciate that. And Spectrum's here with us today. Thank you all for building this beautiful building. We're proud of this building, and we're proud of what will be accomplished within these walls. Also, it's been mentioned before, Winterwood Property Management. We thank you all for providing the top-notch property management for the 30 units that we have here. We do appreciate the work that you do. And I want to thank my staff. There's a lot of them here today, and just like anybody in leadership role will tell you, it really doesn't matter a lot what you do. You just got to get out of the way sometimes and let them do the great work that they do. And Foothills has been around for 60 years, and it does a lot of great work. This is just part of what we do. We fight poverty every day with the programs that we provide. And sadly enough, poverty looks a lot different today than it did 60 years ago. And we have to adjust, and that's what our staff does every day, adjust to the needs of the clients of our four counties. So I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the hard work you put in each and every day to serve the people of these communities that desperately need our help. And lastly, I want to acknowledge the residents of Kit Carson Commons. I want you to know that everybody loves you, we support you, and we're so proud of you. So thank you all again for being here.
Like he said, partnerships are a big reason why we were able to accomplish so much with Kit Carson Commons. To complete this exciting project, we relied really heavily on community support. We experienced an outpouring amount of support from partners and community members. On behalf of Kentucky River Foothills, I would like to thank those that helped equip this facility. EKU IT Department. Thank you to Jeff Whitaker, Justin Goldstein, and team. You created modern, functional workspaces and classrooms throughout the center so that every student in every room gets the support they need. Central Bank, I see you all in the back. In addition to participation with FAHI and construction financing, Central Bank also provided funding support where we were able to purchase many of the items needed to transform this room into a community learning space. Program residents and non-residents will utilize this space. This room will strive to meet the needs of families through life skills training, such as budgeting, parenting, and work and study habits as well. This room will also be available to community use, so if anybody would like to use it, just let me know. Integrity Architecture. With Integrity Architecture funding, we were able to equip a classroom designated for EKU workforce development. Toyota Motor North America. With Toyota funding, we were able to equip a classroom designated for EKU workforce development and staff office space. PNC Foundation. With PNC Foundation funding, we've been able to provide a high-quality, comfortable workspace to staff and program participants to produce their best work. Josh Barrett. Thank you, Josh, for investing money that allowed us to equip our conference room. AT&T Kentucky. With AT&T funding, we were fortunate enough to be able to purchase many of the items that are used in our common areas. In keeping up with workforce efforts for everyone, we purchased most of the furniture from the Kentucky Corrections Industries to provide workforce training and possibly second chance employment for those when they finish their sentence. I also want to thank Tim Webb. Most of the beautiful photos that you see here were photographed by Tim Webb to showcase the work that will be done here. Again, that was a mouthful because there are so many partners that helped with that, and we really appreciate every single one of you.
And none of this would have been possible without the Kentucky Congressional Delegation and their support of federal workforce training dollars. Now, Congressman Barr, thank you for fighting for projects like these. And at this time, I would like to invite Judge Executive Reagan Taylor, who's also a Foothills Board member, to introduce Congressman Barr.
Thank you so much, Madison. Man, is it not a great day to be in Madison County? And we've had a very busy day for some of us, but it really just shows us all working together. I'm so happy to be here. You know, the county has been a proud partner for this Kit Carson Commons project. Madison County Fiscal Court has served as the fiscal agent through the Community Development Block Grant. The federal grant provided $450,000 towards the workforce pathways at Kit Carson Commons. And man, it is always an honor and a privilege to be able to work alongside our partners like Kentucky River Foothills to give positive opportunities for people in Madison County. There is a true return on investment when you invest in people's lives. When given the opportunity to support affordable housing, education, workforce development, and training opportunities, it is the core to making Madison County better. And those are always the things that I want to be a part of to make Madison County better. And I'd like to introduce my friend and Congressman of the 6th District, Andy Barr, who is also a friend of Madison County.
Judge, thank you very much. Thanks for your leadership. Scholar House, what an exciting day this is. It is a pleasure to be with all of you in celebration of this announcement. And as the speakers before have mentioned, the program that we're celebrating today will provide workforce training opportunities to unemployed and underemployed members of our community, focusing on industry, manufacturing, warehousing, shipping, and distribution. Our students and the workforce here are the future, and it's vital that we support them by investing in education and workforce training. When individuals are given the opportunity to succeed and achieve the American dream, we are better preparing our Commonwealth and our country for the challenges of tomorrow. If you ask any American to define the American dream, you may get a different answer depending on who you're talking to. To me, the lifeblood of the American dream is opportunity. The opportunity to individually define it, individually pursue it, and through hard work and determination, individually achieve it. And what I think about the American dream is the condition of your birth should not and does not determine the outcome of your life. When American workers have confidence that they can reach their goals, the benefits extend far beyond the individual. So yes, of course, we're talking about these wonderful scholars who are bettering themselves and achieving for themselves the American gain will strengthen not only themselves, but their families, our community, and our nation as a whole. And if you travel across this country, not just in Kentucky, across our great country, employers will tell you the same thing over and over again. Inflation, yes, a problem. China, yes, a problem. Competitive pressures, yes. The pandemic, all these problems. But workforce, labor shortages, that is the most common concerns like those that will be provided through the workforce pathway at Kit Carson Commons Scholar House help our workforce grow and thrive. And whether it's the Community Development Block Grant funds or the Housing Trust funds, fund dollars, and that were talked about, Mr. Miller was talking about, I agree with the judge. There is a return on investment. I can think of no other type of use of CDBG funds or Housing Trust Fund dollars that will deliver the return on investment, because what we're talking about is producing productive taxpayers. But also, I've got to mention, as a member of the House Financial Services Committee with jurisdiction over HUD, that it's not just these public investments. It's the low-income housing tax credit program that brings these private sector partners that supercharge the taxpayer investment here. The banks, the participants that are taking advantage of these tax credits, bringing private sector dollars to deploy in this project, again, supercharging the opportunities that are being created for these wonderful people who are going to thrive in this program. So today I brought with me a fitting symbol of what this announcement is all about. And it's an American flag. And it's not just an ordinary American flag, it's an American flag that was flown over our nation's Capitol building. The temple of freedom in our country, freedom and opportunity for upward mobility. The symbol of the American dream. And so, to quote President Ronald Reagan, when we honor our flag, we honor what we stand for as a nation: freedom, equality, justice, and hope. Hope. I would like to present this flag to Kentucky River Foothills, instrumental partner in this project, and I've been told it will be displayed proudly in this building. And I hope it will be a reminder to all of the students of this program of their American dream, and an encouragement to continue in that pursuit. And so now we are very proud to also have with us Talia Cateno, here to speak to you about how this program has impacted her and her 3-year-old daughter, Tahira.
Hello everyone, I'm Talia Cateno. I'm just going to kind of tell you guys a bit about myself and how I got into KCC. So I got to EKU at the top of the pandemic. I literally moved in like the end of February. 2 weeks later we were on lockdown. You can only imagine, I had a 1-year-old. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so like an hour and a half away from everybody that I know. I was stressed out. Here we are, almost 3 years later, still here, thriving, looking to graduate in May. But what I will say is I did not see myself here this time 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Once things kind of started getting back to normal, I got back in the spirit, got motivated, I was ready to go. Prior to being here in Richmond, my daughter never attended daycare. Like I said, when we got here, she was 1.5. She got to daycare, I had anxiety, like I was going crazy, like, oh my God, my kid's going to daycare, I have to go to school every day, like, this is crazy. By her second week, when I say the whole entire daycare loved her, and she loved everyone back, like super popular, I'm like, okay, maybe this is not too bad, maybe I can get to it. Just some history about me. I actually joined the military when I was 17. I was a junior in high school. I did like the split option program. I was in the Army Reserve, so I went to basic training between junior and senior year, and then came back, did my senior year. After graduation, I went to job training. So since I went to job training after graduation, I was a little bit behind the curve with the rest of my peers that I graduated with. So I didn't start college until spring semester, I guess you could say, after, like a whole year after graduation. I went to UK. I was there for 3 semesters. I went to school for nursing. I hated nursing. I was like, this is not for me. Oh no. So shout out to all the nurses, because that's, yeah. Yes, and good ones too, the ones that love their job. As I said, I was an Army Reserve, so once I was like, nursing's not for me, let me just kind of take a break, figure out what I want to do. I started picking up military orders. I was a 42 Alpha in the Army Reserves, which is human resource and admin, but I was at an aviation unit down at Fort Knox. So I was there for, I loved it. I was getting my job. Like I said, I was picking up orders. I was getting paid like active duty, even though I wasn't active duty. But I just wanted to do something different. I really wanted to get out of Kentucky and just figure it out. So I actually started looking for flight attendant jobs. For some reason, I just was like, well, maybe let's go. I mean, I'm at an aviation unit. I like flying. Let's figure it out. I got a flight attendant job in St. Louis. I was there for a little bit, and then it just didn't pan out. I was working for GoJet Airlines. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar, but it just didn't work out. So I came back to Kentucky. Like I said, I went there. I was in St. Louis. I spent all my savings to move out there. So I came home for a little bit, and I moved back in with my parents. I'm like, just give me 90 days to just kind of figure it out. And I was pregnant. Yeah. So after that, I just kind of like, I don't know, I had to sit with myself and just figure out. I'm like, okay, I'm bringing life into the world. What makes sense? What makes the most sense for me, but also for like being a parent? And I just decided, like, let's go to flight school. I had the test scores when I was in the military to fly. I was young and I just didn't really have it figured out. So I started. I had her, Tahira, she's here, December of 2018, and I started classes January 2019 at JCTC in Louisville, Kentucky. I figured that I was just gonna do like a lot of colleges have like the 2 years where you do community college and then you transfer over. And I was like looking for housing and different things. So I found Scholar House in Louisville. Their wait list was crazy when I was trying to get in there. So I was going to, they had like cafe nights. I was there once, twice a week, trying to get extra points to get my name bumped up on the list. And just trying to figure it out. So I ended up finding EKU's aviation program. And I came for an orientation while I was my second semester at JCTC. And you know, I was talking, just inquiring, what should I do? How should I go about it? They were like, stop taking prereqs there because you're going to come here and probably still have to do stuff. And go talk to Scholar House. We have one here. So I filled out a little inquiry, and I probably heard something back, I would say within 48 hours. Melissa Gross, I love her. She's my favorite person in the world. She reached out to me, I want to say like the beginning of February. We had the meeting for me to see the apartments. I remember distinctively Valentine's Day weekend. And then, like I said, we were here 2 weeks before the pandemic started. So 2 weeks later, it was swift. Yeah, so, let me see, I'm sorry. I've been here, the program is awesome. I mean, I don't really know how else to explain it besides that it's just support for me, support for my kid. We're connected with Center for Student Parents. It's everything that you need academically, financially, emotional, like just whatever you can think of, they are here to help. Because I was a veteran, like I said before, and occupying a Scholar House across the street, they were like, Talia, you know, we're having a new project, we think you'll be good for it. So I was enthused. I didn't want neighbors upstairs. I was sick of it. I'm like, yeah, count me in, whatever I need to do. So yeah, like I said, I'm planning to walk in May. I just have like 21 credit hours. I'm trying to push it out. But after graduation, I'll probably stay here in Richmond and work still for EKU as a certified flight instructor, trying to get flight hours, just build my time. And then once I get all my hours, start applying for airlines. I don't know who I want to fly for just yet, but hopefully I'll see you guys in the skies.
Thank you so much, Talia. Thank you for your dedication to yourself, to your education, and for your beautiful daughter. Thank you all for coming today. At this time, the party platform will go outside for a picture and a ribbon cutting, including the magistrates and city commissioners. I invite all of you all to visit the booths outside. They're very informative. We have a